All right, dear friends. So we are going to start the second module of ethical hacking and penetration testing, in which we will be covering some introduction and some fundamentals. We have already covered ethical hacking, like what we will be learning throughout of this course, our boot camp. And today we are going to start it officially, step by step up. So let's start it in this module. Basically we are going to cover about the we will cover the basic idea of information security, the CIA triads. One second. Yeah, the CIA triads like confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We will be looking into the ethical and legal boundaries up, and definitely I will be teaching you about penetration testing life cycle, and we will be also learning about professional penetration testing report. I will be showing you some of the professional penetration testing reports, so that will help you a lot to understand how this whole process work. Okay, and yeah, and after that, let's the first thing that we should understand about CIA triads, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the most important part of cybersecurity. So what is confidentiality? Confidentiality basically ensuring the sensitive information is only available to authorized individual or system. For example, if you are an authorized person or you have a system, so basically that system or you as an individual is authorized, and you should be only able to access the sensitive information. If the sensitive information is only available to individuals, then it means that there is a confidentiality. Okay, but if it is not available for individual, if anyone is able to access it rather than individuals, then it means the confidentiality is halted. There is an issue. Okay, then we have integrity. Integrity in cybersecurity means making sure that the data is accurate and trustworthy, by preventing unauthorized changes or tamper. So, any hacker or any bad guy should not be able to tamper that data, to change that data. So, they will, if anyone is able to modify that data that is available, then it means that there is no integrity in the data. Okay, so integrity is important. You have to make sure that the data is actually accurate and trustworthy, because if someone is able to modify the data, then there is an issue of integrity. Simple is that. After that, we have availability. So in availability, basically ensuring that information and system are accessible and operational when needed. So whenever you need that information or data, or the systems, they should be accessible on time. So if they are not available, if something bad happens with your data or with the systems, then means that there is an issue about there is an issue of availability. Okay, so preventing disruption or downtime, there should be no downtime. I'll give you an example. For example, let's say you are launching something, you did a social media campaign already, and people are waiting about your product to be online so they can purchase it, they can make the order. But what happened when you just launch the product on your website? An attacker literally performed DDoS attack, and no, your services are shut down, no one is able to purchase that service. So it is an issue of an availability. It will be a huge risk to the business, or you can say it will be a huge loss to your business, definitely. So the availability, we have to make sure that the data, our systems, our information should be available on time when needed. Then we have a penetration testing life cycle. This is important. From this image, you will get some basic idea about the penetration testing life cycle, that what basically we do in penetration testing. No, definitely it is a module about ethical hacking, there is not so much difference, in ethical hacking and penetration testing. But still, when you will be working in industry, so definitely you will need to perform ethical hacking and penetration testing, like you need to perform VAPT. So the steps are almost same, you can call it. So that's why I have put up here penetration testing stages. So there is basically 5 stages involved in it. The first stage is planning and reconnaissance. Or even though if you want, you can just simple Google it. You will get some basic idea about ethical hacking life cycle as well. For example, just give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm just googling it for you guys. So let me show you. For example, let's see, we have ethical hacking life cycles. So if we open any of it up, you can see we have reconnaissance, then we have a scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and covering tracks. So yeah, these are almost same things. Uh, let's open this one: reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and covering tracks. No other. On the other hand, if we look into it, like planning and reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining, these are the same things in ethical hacking and penetration testing. So don't be confused with the title of penetration testing, because we are covering ethical hacking now. These are, kind of same things. So let's explore these things, like how this life cycle basically work. The first step of being an ethical hacker or penetration test, what you will need to do, there is a planning and reconnaissance phase. Now, what is planning and reconnaissance phase? In this stage, we decide what exactly need to be tested and why. Okay, for example, is it a website or a mobile application or a whole network? We also collect initial information like domain names of IP addresses, or what technologies are being used, that help us set clear goals before testing. So basically, it will not be something like they will just give you a name of a website or a domain of a website that XYZ, test this XYZ. No, this is not going to be happen. Why? Look up, when you will be working for any company, uh, or if when you will be working for your client, there will be a proper documentation. They will provide you a proper document in a written format, where there will be a very proper in scope, like scope, that this is the defined scope that you need to work on. For example, let's say they have in the document they have said up that these are the scope that you need to work. Let's say there is a website which is MasaudSec.com. There is an IP address which is, let's say, 123.15.678.xy. Just an example. There will be IP address, there will be subdomains. For example, help.masaudsec.com, contact.masaudsec, contact.masaudsec.com. These are just example that I am giving you. So my point is, the whole point is that there will be a proper document that they are going to provide you in a written format, where the scope will be defined and you will be working on that particular scope. If you go outside of that scope, that will be considered as illegal and they might take any kind of action against you. Okay, so you need to stick with the document, and you need to stick with only scope items that you will need to work on. For example, let's say there is a bug bounty platform, HackerOne.com. If you visit it, just go to the any target, let's say Dell.com. There will be an entire in scope. In scope will be telling you, are there will be a defined scope, that these are the things that are in scope and these are out of scope things that you are not, you should not work on them. They are not considered as scope. So this is the first plan. This is the first phase, which is basically about planning and reconnaissance. And these are the thing you need to pull out. And after that, we have another we have a second phase of ethical hacking or penetration testing, which is scanning. So once we know the target of, let's say we have a website and an IP address, then we use tools like Nmap, Burpsuit, Nessus to scan it. Definitely the second phase will be scanning. Why we scan it? To discover open port services and possible vulnerabilities, possible weaknesses. This is the ultimate goal of the scanning, to discover weaknesses in any website or web application, or let's say an app or a server. Yeah, using different tools. So think of it like checking all the doors and windows of a house to see which one is unlocked, which ones are unlocked. Okay, then we have a third phase which is access, gaining access. So what we do here in gaining access, we try to use those weaknesses, our vulnerabilities that we discovered during scanning phase, and then we try to exploit it in order to gain our initial access. So in gaining access, we try to exploit weaknesses that we discover. This could means using SQL injection. It could be an SQL injection or weak password or other attacks to get into the system. So attacks are involved. At this stage, we prove that vulnerability is real, showing some level of access. So we will be confirming this is not a false positive, this is actual vulnerability, and we will be using that vulnerability to gain the initial access. Let's say there is a file upload feature and you exploit it, you uploaded a shell, you take the reverse shell, and now you have an access to the server. Okay, this is how it works up. Then we have maintaining access. So now don't worry how to perform all these things, we will be going step by step. I'll be teaching you about vulnerabilities, and you know how to exploit it, how to take reverse shell, xyz. Okay, then we have after getting after getting in, let's say you take the initial shell, you have successfully get the access, initial access. Then what we do, we test if we can stay inside the system, or with basically we can stay inside the system without being detected. So in maintaining access, we basically try to maintain the access by trying to stay inside without being detected by the system, or let's say the security features that they have implemented. It could be a WAF or anything like that, on a defensive level. So this show what a real attacker could do. You will be installing backdoors, creating a hidden user account, or even though you will be trying to escalating your privileges. No, escalating privileges is something huge topic that we will be covering. There are two types of privilege escalation: vertical privilege escalation and horizontal privilege escalation. Our target machine will be either a Linux machine or a Windows machine, so there is a separate methods for it that we will be exploring in our privilege escalation. Okay, so it helps organization to understand for long term risk. Then at the end we have analysis and WAF configuration. So finally we analyze everything we found up and create a report for the client up. So this is the phase where where you try everything and now you started creating a report. We explain which vulnerability exists, how serious they are, and how to fix them. Sometime results are also used to improve defenses like web application firewall. After fixing issue, testing can be done again. So let's say the client after 2 or 3 months, the client came back by saying that, hey, we need to retest those technologies or features that we done last time. So now I am going to show you one of the report for penetration testing, and after that it will be more clear for you to understand how thing works. So okay, so this is just a demo report to show you how a penetration testing report can be done. So there will be a table of content. You will be required to create a table of content in which you will be telling them about everything. Sorry, and yeah, there will be a scope each and everything. For example, if you go down, let's say we have the disclaimer, we have the contact information, let's say the company who hired you for this job. Then we have assessment overview, and these are the finding severity ratings. For example, critical vulnerabilities will be uh, rate as 9 to 10. High will be rate as 7 to 8.9. And then there will be some low and confidential and medium level vulnerabilities. It depends on the risk of vulnerability. For example, if there is a file upload vulnerability and you have access, you got the initial access, or you uploaded a malicious shell and you take the reverse shell, it will be considered as a critical. Similarly, for example, then we have SQL injection. Let's say you dump the entire database, so it will be considered as high. Similarly, there are some low and informational vulnerabilities. They risk each and everything. Here will be a scope of, let's say the company hire you for internal penetration testing, or they have a website for web application. So either they will give you some of the domains, or they will give you the IP address. So the scope of exclusions of, let's say they just clearly told you that these are the things you are not going to perform. You cannot perform DDoS attack, you cannot perform phishing or social engineering. So yeah, then for example, if you have discovered some of the vulnerabilities, you need to list them one by one. Let's say during our penetration testing, we discovered 13 critical vulnerabilities, 5 high level vulnerabilities, and similarly we discovered 6 moderate, which is medium level vulnerabilities, and low and the others. So you need to list them, all of them. You need to list all of them one by one, and then you are going to tell them about each vulnerability one by one. So this is the first finding, and the description about the vulnerability, the risk about the vulnerability, the system, what kind of tools you have used, the references, and some evidence, and remediation, that how to fix this vulnerability. Okay, then we have a description about the vulnerability and the risk. This is how this thing work. So this is an entire demo penetration testing report. There is so many reports already available on you can say GitHub. You just need to type up penetration testing GitHub sample reports, or penetration testing reports on GitHub. You will get so much. There is an entire repository available easily, so you can look into these things and you will get some basic idea that how to write a penetration testing report professionally. You can seek help from ChatGPT. You can watch some of the YouTube videos of. Don't worry, at the end of the course, I'll be personally showing you or teaching you how actually you can write a report. I will give you some of the templates about the penetration testing report. Yeah, there will be some template where you can put some data, and there is some automation methods also available that will be useful. So that was all for our you can say for our penetration sorry, for the fundamentals of, and I hope it is clear. And by the way, one more and final important thing, we will be continuing this series up. And if you are interested to master ethical hacking penetration testing in a single premium course, it is also available on my Udemy. I will make sure to pin the link in the bio, as well as sorry, not bio, in the description, as well as in the first comment. And by the way, I have already created a free course as well as a that is 7 to that is approximately 11 hours long course. So you can simply look into that 11 hours long course. Hi everyone, you will do 30-day learning. Visit my YouTube channel, and if you go to the video section, there will be a 12 hours boot camp. So it is worth watching, to be honest. You just need to also watch this course. It will help you a lot. I've explored so many things, but don't worry, I'm also going to explain each and everything in this current course as well as so yeah, if you are interested in simply Udemy course, just let me know. You can enroll. It is worth watching. There is approximately 24 plus modules covering each and everything. And if you want to take a live mentorship, if you are seeking a true mentor, then you can also check the details. You can also check the details on MasaudSec.com. You will get everything what you need. So yeah, just take care. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.